So I'm doing this recording because I'm hoping maybe I can make a little bit of better sense for the way I'm feeling today or this evening. It being a Monday, 5th of May. How I'm feeling. You know, I did a meditation for about half an hour before this recording and trying to create a space where that which can arise, which show me why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. You know, which is like what I'm saying is generally I feel tired in body, mind and spirit. Okay, and I feel my head is very heavy. Okay, and I feel my body is tired, and just feeling kind of just blasé in a sense. But what's underneath it? Why am I feeling this? Shouldn't I feel engaged? Shouldn't I feel excited? Shouldn't I feel connected, enthusiastic for being alive, being part of this mystery, being on this process of growth and evolution and a world that's going through massive transformations? Shouldn't I feel invigorated? You know, all the time? Well, obviously not. Okay. Do I feel heavy in my personality? Do I feel heavy by the planet, by the world, modernity, 2019, the state of affairs that's going on, the chaos that's around, the dysfunction that's around, etc., etc.? Do I give credence and do I give acknowledgement? I need to sneeze. I think it's the first time, thank you for all those that blessed me. It's the first time I've ever sneezed on the camera while doing a video. Anyway, so, say maybe you sneeze on the truth. I don't know. So, but I like to try and make sense for the way I'm feeling, to try and understand it, to try and know what's heavy on my heart, to know what I can do for myself, to feel more light-hearted and more higher-spirited, in a sense, and not so much down. It's not down in the dumps. It's not a depression. It's a little bit of despair, I suppose. It's a little bit of despair. It's a little bit of annoying frustration, in my being, in my bones today. I feel like an electricity of frustration in my hands, type of thing. A restlessness, okay? And so I'm trying to figure out what is this. I'm travelling back to Johannesburg tomorrow for a few days. Now I live in Durban, the city that I moved to, and I'm travelling back to Johannesburg. And I'm trying to see what effect that might have on me. Is it that? Is it a certain astrological alignment? Okay, again, what are the factors? Is it my diet? Is it like I'm not feeling fulfilled enough in my day? Sometimes can be the case. Am I feeling that I'm not fulfilled, enriched with close relationships with people, like feel inspired or feel positively challenged in a sense? Because now I don't have anybody to talk to, so I switch on the camera. And that's what that's what I'm doing. So are those the factors? Are these factors? I think all of them as well. I'm feeling in a way as well, just coming back, is like I don't even want to reply to comments. I'm a little bit disheartened by the feedback that I get on my videos, the viewership that I get. Again, I'm not looking for massive amounts of views or massive amounts of comments, but like I go through these massive dry spells, right, where I mean, I can make 3 or 4 videos, and like each video will get maybe 1 or 2, 3 comments. Some maybe just 1 comment. And thumbs up, fine, which I'm not sure what that means, but it's nice. Okay, because you can see people are actually watching it, are engaged in it. So for myself, sometimes I get so disheartened by it, because like, I say, geez man, I mean, if this is real, if I'm real, no, seriously, now that I think about it, if I'm giving people assistance or support or love or understanding or insights or something like that, and I'm just getting an echo, I'm just getting like no response or vague response, not even vague, I'm saying barely. I think to myself as well, sometimes I feel like, well, why do you do it? You know, what are you wasting your time for? Because you want some feedback. And you know, I try and make an effort of those people that I'm subscribed to comment on their videos, or even on Facebook, which I don't like to go on. But when I do see somebody, one guy in particular, who used to comment on my videos, and now, you know, he puts up poetry and he puts up motivational stuff, and I'm always make sure to like it. And I don't know if he's watching my videos anymore, but not even to come over and just say, hey Aaron, you know, wishing you well, my man, or something, like nothing. And other people that I do like sort of audio recordings with, and I send them through an audio recording, and like I just don't get a reply. And I mean, these are people that I consider that I'm quite close with and watch my videos from time to time. You know, there's one person in particular, I don't think he's watching my videos, but like, I'll be honest, I just see him on Facebook very often. Whenever I'm on there, he's posting about a whole lot of stuff. I send through recordings and I'm like, I don't get any. It takes like a week. No, it takes even longer for a reply, or I get no reply until I reply to him, and I make a voice recording. And so I'm like disappointed. You know, I'm disappointed because these are the apparently like-minded individuals. You know, we sort of have a fellowship together, and I realize, obviously now, not. It's like you have all the time in the world to talk on Facebook and whatever it is, sending, but like to give me a 2-minute reply. No, record, like that's how we do recordings. He records it while he's on his way to work in his car, on his cell phone. How hard is that to do? Really? How hard is that to do? You've got nothing else to do, okay, a lot of the time. So I don't know, so maybe that's also a frustration, is that I feel like I'm a hell of a lot on my own, and I'm fighting this fight on my own a lot of the time. And I think also that's one of the things that is frustrating me. Now there's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people out there, you know, that watch my videos, that comment all the time, and I mean, if they didn't comment, I don't know what I would actually do. I would feel that I don't know what I would feel. I just feel almost neglected, in a sense, just overlooked, type of thing. Same feeling when I felt when I was a child, you know, my upbringing. I'm not trying. Okay, so I'm very appreciative of you, of you know, the common commenters. And again, I don't know what I would do without you. I know it takes me a while to get back to your comments, but I eventually do. That's the point. I don't just leave you hanging. And so, again, is that what I'm frustrated about? I'm not expecting massive results. I don't want massive results. I don't want over 200 people watching my videos. It's not even so much about the viewership. It's about the lack of feedback. And because the amount of effort and energy and heart and thought that goes into my videos. It's been the story of my life, folks. It's been the story of my life. that I feel that I give so much and I get very little in return. And I think maybe that's what I'm frustrated about. But what frustrates me as well is that I can't seem to put my finger on it. Like, I can't say, yes, that's what it is. Like, it's all very vague for me right now. It's all very vague. So I can't quite figure out what it is. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. So that's why I'm making this video. To try and see what comes up for me. I can't pinpoint exactly. Yes, I can tell you. We could sit down. I can tell you certain things that are frustrating me. I can tell you, being more aware of my mind chatter is very difficult, right? Let's see how much time I've been chatting. Being aware of my mind is like observing my thoughts, okay, and my attitude to certain things and my mapping of reality, and paying attention to that, like, the thoughts that go on in my head, the conversations that go on in my head. I want to do a talk about that, but I just find it bizarre. So I'm doing this metal detecting thing on the beach now, because the truth is that, I'll just be honest with you folks, I got a lot of time on my hands with not enough to do. I've been blessed enough that I'm financially okay because of the business that I have, which only involves me having to be there a few hours every week or two, and then that's it, and it's taken care of, and I got a lot more free time on my hand. I don't quite know sometimes what to do with it, so I've picked up this hobby of metal detecting. And anyway, that's a side note, but that's also what frustrates me. It's like I've been thinking about maybe I should get involved in visiting, retirement villages or something. And doing something, I don't know. See, I couldn't do soup kitchens. And I don't even know if I have the heart to do retirement villages or something like that. I just feel like for myself, really, it's about getting through the day, each day as it comes. And for myself, at the moment, I'm really trying to keep things as simple as I possibly can. There's just so much going on. Inwardly for myself and outwardly. For myself and for the whole world. There's just so much going on. So I don't want to overcomplicate it. I don't want to have too many people in my life. I just don't want to have too many relationships that are complicated. I don't want other people's drama, and I haven't yet found the boundary or the space to be able to. Like, let's say if I do visit a retirement village, which I have before, I felt really despaired because most of the people that I wanted to talk to about life, they were just complaining and they were just miserable people, which is fine for them, but it was like I couldn't talk about anything else. It wasn't a nice environment to be in for myself either. So I don't know. I don't want to get involved in soup kitchens or with homeless people or something like that. I don't know. Like, even for myself, I don't want to do counseling. I don't want to be like a life coach or something like that. Because I just feel, unless it's with people that are relatively healthy and we're on the same page, and I wouldn't be a life coach, we'd just be friends type of thing, having conversation. But I wouldn't be, I haven't got the credentials to do it. I'm not interested in I don't even do yoga, to do yoga classes or to do meditation classes. It's like, I don't know, I very much keep to myself. And I'm not afraid of people, folks. So I'm not a shy guy. If I see somebody that's interesting, I will go and I'll talk to them. I have no problem whatsoever. So it's that. And while I'm talking as well, I'm jumping around here, but what comes up for me as well is that I don't know how self-assured I am. If that makes sense. I don't know how self-assured, like, I feel quite lofty which is fine as well. And maybe it's a letting go of my identity in a sense. It's very loaded what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that, like, it's hard for me to pinpoint something that is real for me, that like is real. What do I mean is that, let's say, even when I look back at my videos that I've done, like they just seem so unreal. Or the things that I was saying, I struggle with this not being real. Okay? I don't know if this makes sense. But it's like it was once a figment of my imagination. It's like this moment now is so fresh for me that it's like I don't even... It's like that even for myself. I don't know how to explain it. There's just so much movement and change going on that it's just whatever's now. It's whatever's now. And so when I didn't talk from that point of view, like it's hard for me to even pin myself down as that's what kind of person I am, or those are the things that kind of bother me, because I'm changing at such a rapid pace. And I realize that the things that are bothering me sometimes will bother me less, or I start seeing them from a different perspective. Okay? If this is making sense, I start seeing them from a different perspective. Like before, I used to have, radio used to irritate me, television used to irritate me, it does irritate me, but it's very different now for myself. Like people used to irritate me, and they still do, but I've become removed from them in such a way. I'm saying the general masses. I've become so removed from them that it bothers me and it hurts me what they're doing, but it's almost like I have no judgment over it. I have very, very little judgment. How much time I got left here? I got very, very little judgment over it. So I feel like I'm changing in that way, in that perspective. And that's the thing with growing, and it's at such a rapid pace. Let me stop and restart because I'm going to run out of time. I don't know if this is making sense, but it's such a, so we're not the same people as we were even a few days ago. Right? And so for myself, it's hard to find out, what is the real space that you hold? And that's the mystery, I think, folks. That's indeed the mystery, I think. It's where you stand raw and naked, basically, with just what your being is within the present moment. And you speak from the present moment. You act from the present moment. You are not acting out of conditioning, out of programming. You're not acting that way. You're not feeling that way. You're not triggered the same way. You're not seeing through the same eyes every day when you see life around you, when you're growing, when you're involved in this. You don't. You see everything fresh, everything new, and with a different interpretation on it. With a different interpretation. And so for myself, I really feel like there's a massive distance that's unfolding, developing for myself in the world, the 3D world. Okay, the Aaron Goch in his family role, man, that's like another story. I've especially since I moved to another city, and moved away from the town that I was raised in, brought up in. The way I think about, so I've created such a distance, and there's a certain freedom and for myself and growing, and so I'm shedding so many snake skins. It's unbelievable. And so that is daunting, and it is difficult, and it is hard, and it is exhausting, because it's about paying attention. It's about observing. It's about being in the moment. What that really means. Being in that moment, and the past is gone in certain ways. Yes, it has. But it's not, you see, because I contradict myself. Because what I'm saying is that the past is gone, but the destination or the journey that you've taken in your efforts, in your ambitions, in your courage, in your bravery, in your higher choices, that's all credibility, that's all character, that's all being developed metaphysical muscle in a way. Okay, through that journey, it's not identifying it as through the eyes, as only seeing it from the flesh and bone. I'm saying when I look back at myself, I look back from a soul experience now. See, that's a different perception as well. A soul experience, a soul on a journey. I don't see Aaron in a character at 7 years old. Sometimes I do, because I try and make sense of what I've been going through. But I don't have that identified with me in that sense. It sounds, I mean, I don't have the words for it. But I don't have that as much. I just see it as a soul traveler and journey. And that none of this sticks to me in a sense. It's there. I mean, a lot of the traumas and wounds are still there, and there's still a lot of the healing that's taking place and the recovery is taking place. But it's just almost like, I don't know, burping or something or other. It's not part of your existence. It's a flow. I mean, everything's a flow, but even it's like air. It's so funny because, it's coming. It's not that. It's a rhythm. It's a bloody rhythm of some sorts. And so there's no fixed structure, identity. It's hard to put into words. I don't know. I think a guy like Ram Dass could do a better job than I have, obviously. But there's an element to that. I mean, you folks must feel it as well. Some of you, you had very interesting hobbies, or you started doing things, and you once played the guitar and you still can, and maybe you were focused on it for 5 years, but then you haven't played it in a long time, and you've moved on from it. We're disengaging with the past at a massive rate, and we're turning it what was once from a physical level into a spiritual, metaphysical level. It's the alchemy. You understand? It's like you're seeing what more so the destination. What was the process that was happening? The alchemical process. My memory's terrible. The Rubido, the Negredo, right? Can you believe it? This is when it comes down to details. It's in that process. Like when you're making a cake and it's all the recipes, you don't. The result comes at the end. The mixing and putting in the batter and the butter and the sugar and the milk and the flour, whatever it is, it's all the ingredients. But it's going to result in something else. And so what I'm saying is our last journey and process is morphing into something, transforming into something that we can't even imagine what it could possibly be like, because we've only been working with the raw ingredients, which is in the hard knocks, within the 5 sense 3D reality, within the material of things. But the material is transcendental, it's transient. It's absolutely transient. So it's like a wrapper for a chocolate or something like that, and the wrapper serves its purpose, but the wrapper's thrown away and you eat the chocolate. You understand? So the wrapper was just a tool. It was just providing some type of service for something else. And so that's it. Your whole story is a service, is providing a service in service of something else. So the service part will fall away. The nitty gritties and the practical and so much. Maybe a better metaphor to use here would be like the placenta.
Now the placenta, without the placenta, the fetus could not grow, could not develop. Okay, it would die. So the placenta is something of high value, okay, for a time being. But then eventually the placenta, when the baby's born and delivered, there is absolutely no purpose for the placenta whatsoever. It serves no purpose. Okay, because the result has been done, the process has been completed, and the placenta goes. And that's almost like our story, our narrative.
The nitty-gritty, the practical, that kind of stuff will fall away. The tools, the utilities, your childhood, your teenage years, your experiences, your highs, your lows, all of it. All of it. It dissolves because it fades away because something else. Like where's the flour? Where's the butter? Where's the sugar in the cake? It's completely transformed into a cake. You can't show me the sugar. The sugar is, all I see is a piece of cake. All I see is what a piece of cake looks like. That's all I see. Okay? Where's the flour? I don't see the flour anymore. I don't see the eggs anymore. If you had to show me a piece of cake, I don't know what the ingredient. I would say I have no idea how you made this thing. There's no ways that I could break it down if I had no idea of the ingredients or what possibly was the ingredients. I have no idea. I mean, there's so much about life. I mean, that's what we're talking about, life. So you would look at that and say it's all unrecognizable. The sugar is unrecognizable. The flour, the egg. I don't know what else is. Baking powder, the yeast. So, I mean, take bread, take whatever it is. I mean, even if you look at a bloody apple tree as a sprout before it turns into an apple tree. I mean, it's an apple tree still as a seedling. You could have no concept if you've never seen an apple tree or apples what that tree would produce. You would have no freaking idea. It's impossible for you to know if you've never seen even, let's say, a fruit tree, for heaven's sake. You haven't seen a fruit tree, so you don't know what this tree is going to do. You don't know what you don't know what it tastes like, the fruit. You don't even know what fruit is. You don't even know what color it's going to be. You know nothing. But through the seed, through the soil, through the water, through the wind, through the air, through the seasons, this little seed unfolds, sprouts and grows, and miraculously years later, from this tiny little seed, come these apples. Each one holds the seed within itself again, for the thing to just keep on creating and going on. But when you look at the sprout, so the seedling, and you look at, and you contrast it to the apple tree years later, you look at the apple, again, you can't correlate the two. It doesn't make sense. It's illogical to a certain degree unless you break down the process. And that's ultimately what I'm saying. Essentially, we kind of start off as a spur, as a zygote or something before the spur. And then it's the unfolding process. Right? It's the unfolding process. And so we're not just the sperm, obviously the spirit infused within the body, whatever it is, but then the narrative, the body, the story, the highs, the lows, the relationships to a certain degree, whatever it is, the language, the features, okay, the feeling of time and space, all dissolves. From your first day at school, the whole thing just evaporates and turns into what? What does it turn? What have you turned it into? What has it flowered into? What fruit has come out of it? And so this is what maybe perhaps is going on for myself and for others out there, is that on this process, the ego it's not comfortable for the ego. Because the ego wants to maintain status quo, wants to maintain business as usual, because it's familiar with that, it works best with that. Okay, and that's what it's designed and operated for. But spirit, on the other hand, is forever evolving and forever changing, and is in contradiction with, so the one is pulling back and the one is pulling forward. It's a tug of war. It's a constant tug of war. And in ourselves, it's such a weird experience, because you're not the ego and you're not fully spirit, and you're using the ego, and it's like, what the hell, what's going on here? And so you need to say, well, all that I can do is carry on and push forward. You see, I'm saying whoever the I is, the observer, the essence of the being inside that feels like me, that feels as consistent as it was from day one. I mean, which is so bizarre. It's bizarre not being identified, but in a healthy, balanced way. Right? Not to be absolutely unidentifiable to yourself. You see, it gets tricky because you've got to be friends with the ego. You've got to be in partnership with the ego. You can't just lose the ego. You can't just cling on to the spirit and then fly away. You need the two together. That's what marries the relationship. Together, that's what makes it work. That's how the one hand will wash the other hand. I mean, the one hand can't wash it, by itself. It needs the other. So the ego is not our enemy at all. And in a way, when you start seeing that the world is not your enemy either, is that it's the process of your conditioning, of being in the furnace. It's very tough, this. It's very tough. I'm saying to acknowledge this, to admit this, for real. For real. I'm not saying it's something that you read in a Harry Potter book or something that you read in some, Master Eckhart's book or something like that. No, but it applies to your life. It applies to your life. It's big. It's big. And so maybe for myself, on a more existential nature, that's what makes me feel heavy-hearted right now. But with such beautiful promise, it's such contradiction, it's such duality, which I think we're going to feel, because it's the birth process, it's the breakdown, rebuild, it's the death, rebirth, right? Breaks down, rebirth, and so the breaking down is hard. It's tough, it's cruel almost, it's brutal, but there's such a promise of something so unspeakable, so unrecognizable, but you can be sure that it is the philosopher's stone, right? It is something that basks in radiance. And that's what you move forward to, regardless. That's what you just keep on moving forward to. When you are bathed in light. And so for myself, ending off on this, it's hard. It's hard to know that a lot of the things that I've done in my past, yes, they've rippled out into the world, but slowly and surely dissolve in time, in a way, so to speak. It doesn't really, because if it's positive, it has a knock-on effect. But perhaps I'm just talking about my own maturation, my own process, my own growth, in a certain way or something or other. Alright folks, I'm going to end off on that for now, but again, I appreciate you hanging around and sharing the space with me. Take care.